doing what you can while you enjoy it as best as you can, but variety. And you guys are great. This is variety. This is a lot of variety in this show.
This is Panto on steroids. In the room, 52 Jokers Wild.
Hi, folks. Welcome to this week's show. In the room with Garvin and me is our guest, Aidan O'Sullivan, actor and voiceover artist. Welcome to the show.
Hi,
Aidan.
George. Thank you.
You suddenly saw all the kind of bits and pieces that we're doing. And I loved your introduction there. You were talking about YouTube there and how YouTube is very useful for you.
It's great because it's sort of connected to films and everything, but YouTube's great because if you don't have anything, if you're not very good at IT and technical stuff, like computers, how to upload something, how to find these cookie things, how to enable these effing cookie things. You go on YouTube and there's somebody who's usually from somewhere in the Middle East or Asia and very good at them. They go on YouTube and spend time, put on videos about how to do everything. They get the wee mouse thing to show you what to do. And it's great. Like they save you a lot of hassle, a lot of time, and probably even money as well. But
I've managed to use it to do my car recently. I kind of fixed my car because I watched a few YouTube, and then there was a bit of plumbing that we had to do in the house, and we managed to get that sorted. It's all on YouTube.
I'm going to interrupt here and bring it somewhere else. Because no one gives it. Nobody cares, right?
Yes, they do. That's why they're on YouTube.
Right. This is a show, and they don't want to hear on the show, how do we go onto YouTube and do something else? That's not a show.
You do, because you find these amazing things about how to act and how to make movies and how to talk to Garvin and all the counseling things that you need to keep yourself sane when you're trying to talk to Garvin. And I did something yesterday where you actually sat with somebody else in the counseling process.
I did exactly what you're doing now.
Ignore the person.
Me, yes.
Totally ignoring him, not listening to him at all. Yeah. Go on, Garvin, I'll let you
Right.
in.
Now, what you should have said, Aidan, is the surprise is when you go onto YouTube and you type in, how do I be Aidan O'Sullivan? That's the answer we're looking for. Because if we don't know, there's some little Malaysian, Asian, Indian person off in China, you're telling us knows how to do a better you. That's what I want to know. How to be Garvin Burke. How to be Garvin Burke 101. How do I make a better me? Because it's not going to be out there in a YouTube. That's going to be a video I can go train. I can go complain. I can do something else. But the whole thing we don't know is there's no bloody instruction booklet. How to be me. How to be you.
They thought if they had an instruction book for Garvin, it would be too dangerous that they'd have to, blow the world up.
That's it.
In time to come, there'll probably be instruction manuals for people. There probably will be. And it'll be working in some office place or company in 50 years' time, where as soon as you sign the contract, you're living there, working there, and you have to abide by a list of rules. Basically, how to be an employee / yourself.
That's brilliant.
That's the way it's going to go.
Actually, the strange thing there with that one is that was how not to be me in all the jobs I've ever done before, because they're saying, leave you at the door, because if you want to be in here, you want to work, you got to now be what we want you to be. And here's a list of roles, tasks, responsibilities. And if you don't fit it and you don't get trained into it, then you're not the employee for us. Now, the area that we're all in usually says, we'll dip into that a little bit and go, I'll be an actor for the day. I'll play that role, but not for life. Actually, I'm going to go with that one for a second. If you got a job tomorrow, Aidan, and it was on EastEnders or Coronation Street, that you had to go off and actually effectively play someone else's life for the next 30 years, would you take it?
30 years? Oh.
Well, most of those people on those roles are there, aren't they?
They're there for life. It's a life sentence.
When you think about it, to get a job like on EastEnders or Coronation Street would be great, but it's just like 30 years is a long, long time. Maybe you don't start off saying I'll work for 30 years here or be on the show for 30 years, but it ends up that way. And I don't know. I'm not knocking any show or any, but it would just be like getting a job in a company. Yeah. And I don't know. 30 years is a long time to live anywhere, to work anywhere, to be anywhere. I don't think. I'm not sure.
Don't harp on about the 30. 5 years, 6 years.
No growth. No growth in the character. Possibly. That they're having to be something similar all the way through.
You're effectively going to be playing yourself in EastEnders or First City.
Playing myself, like no acting required.
You have to be, because you won't be able to tell yourself the difference to yourself, because you're going to work and then you play this character more than you play yourself. If
anything, as long as I got to have once a year, like an explosion scene, a car crash scene, a life-saving operation scene, lots of dramatic stuff to keep it interesting.
So what you're telling me is you want to be the first armed response role in these shows. So you're going to be going to every crash. You want to be a guard. That's what you want to be on EastEnders or Fair City.
I want to be a.
You've already been a guard, haven't you? And an inspector a few times.
I've been told I've got a big Garda head on me, so I get a lot of guard roles, or Garda roles, or doctor roles, or trusting roles. I'm told that. But
they're usually just psycho roles, I thought. Yeah, they're the ones that get away with murder.
Because psychopaths, they don't go around saying, I'm a psychopath. They go around saying, here, can I help you, George? Can I help you, Garvin? Meanwhile, they're stabbing you in the back with a smile on their face. So, no, I see what you mean. Yeah, it's like...
so most CEO roles, effectively, you can run...
I've got a couple of books on psychopaths who turn out to be CEOs. Yeah, that's generally what they are. They don't care about the people underneath them. Garvin, you're the CEO of...
of me, myself, and I. No, actually, Aidan, there's another thing. We don't know you from Adam. We didn't research before the show. We're making a common, team of this, myself and George. We're going, it doesn't matter what they were before, because they're not going to be the same after this. So they're never going to walk the same, talk the same. They're going to be damaged goods after this show if they weren't before. We're not going to make you better. We're not going to make you stronger. We're going to break you. I'll probably rebuild you, hopefully. But
Bionic Man.
Are you a thespian or an actor?
It's I always associate I associate thespians with theater, and actors with like cinema or screen. I'd be a bit of both. Well, a bit of both, I'd say. But I love that word.
You're a boy. Okay, so you're.
I'm a hybrid. I identify as both. Hybrid. A thespian and an actor, and a voiceover. And an amateur, very amateur stand-up comedian, very amateur.
So in your LinkedIn profile with these new verbs and pronouns, it's actor, thespian, he, him. Is that it? Or her, if the role requires.
I actually have been offered. I actually played a woman recently twice. I do role play a sim patient work for medical students pretending to be doctors or training to be doctors. And they were short for somebody to play a mother to a newborn baby. So they said, Aidan, would you feel comfortable doing it? And I says, no problem. Like, I'm up for anything. And I had a baby and everything, and a newborn baby, and it was great crack. I'll be a woman.
Right. Okay, we got the woman. We've got the... Have you been a dead body anytime lately, or have you covered off that one?
A couple of years ago, and I was in a real coffin, and they put the lid over me. And I must say, I was scared, interested, and it was the hairs on the back of the neck. It was actually a bit of fun. It's off the bucket list. I was in a coffin and they put it over me for a film.
Well, I hate to say this, Aidan, it's going to be on your bucket list a second time, hopefully a long time away. But it's no, actually, if your coffin is off your bucket list, are you now saying you're going to get cremated?
Oh, actually, that's a good point. You'd make a very good cop. Like, a detective interrogation thing. That's a really good point. Yes.
He's very good at doing that. I've more or less
said that I will be getting cremated because I will never be in a coffin again.
Now, what's even more, if we go, are you a little bit vegan, vegetarian? Because you could become a tree pot and grow yourself again.
Oh, yes, I've heard that one. Yeah, my sister was talking about that, having her ashes or something embedded around a load of seeds that a tree grows out. And her name's Teresa anyway, so there you go.
So we could grow a couple of Aidan O'Sullivans, have a little orchard of you, popping up everywhere you go.
Does that mean that humans make good fertilizer? They
are the best.
Apparently so.
Yes.
Apparently, yeah.
Dinosaurs make coal and all the rest of it. Humans are good fertilizer, I believe.
So say, for example, like dinosaurs, they, over the billions of years, they became coal. If you put a whole pile of humans together in a billion years' time, what would they become? Gold? Or
very fruity.
Yeah, definitely. Well, a billion years' time. Well, actually, normally about sort of 3 days in, we're a bunch of flies, I thought. We don't usually last that long. We're liquefied. We're gone to pot. Within a year, we're gone. We're dust. Actually, that's the whole point. We're here, and then we're dust. Back to dust. So from dawn to dusk to dust. So we're only here for a short time. So what are you going to do with the rest of the time you got left on this planet?
I think basically just
be someone else, but it sounds of it.
But the thing is, people have this idea about actors it's the whole thing about you're lying, you're trying to be somebody else. But then other acting schools say that an actor is somebody who they use themselves in roles.
Yes.
And you just put on an accent, or you do just things like that. So that, I don't know. It's like actors get a bad rap as being liars or.
Well, I actually like the idea that actors are about. Yeah, I like the idea that actors are doers. They're trying to do something. There's a piece of action they have to accomplish, and they're being blocked by other people from achieving those goals through the scene. So I kind of like that idea. I don't like
it, George. Actors are trying to be anyone but themselves. Because if they're acting, it's not themselves. If you're playing the role of you, then that's a different game. And we're playing that role every day of the week. And we're not playing that one. I'm not playing me very, very well. I think someone else could probably do it better than me than I can.
What happens if people who are watching you in a film or a play don't know you? So they don't know what playing you is. So as far as they're concerned, they're going, oh my God, he's great as a complete ball bag. Yeah. But no, but it's actually me being a ball bag.
It's not many times I've been called a ball bag on national or podcast.
No, I'm talking about everybody in general, including myself.
Yeah.
And that includes the ladies, it turns out. So to have most ladies have the husband's balls in the bag. Anyway, we were in a different show on that one. Actually, myself and George want them back. Because we're if at all possible.
See, the term ball bag hasn't been used in a long time. And I think it's one of those words.
It's been used 3 times in the last minute.
I'm so pissed the last minute. Well, I'm completely lost to where we're going at this point. I tell you, no, I mean, I find it fascinating because as someone that's been a teacher, a lecturer, and I've taught, I'm getting into counseling at the moment, as in the counselor. What I'm finding is everybody's telling their story and you're trying to get them to act out certain parts and put into action their words in some form. So I'm sort of started to take a different view of what actors are really all about. That it's not Garvin's view of the actor. It's basically there's a task that has to be achieved within a certain scene or within a whole story. And you're seeing how that person actually navigates the problems they're having to get to the end
on a
of the
journey.
Scene, to see if
but also you want to empathize with them and not necessarily like them, but empathize with them, that kind of thing. But if you don't, then you're not going to care.
Absolutely, which is why in some of the film script writing story ideas, there's that if the villain comes in and then goes and saves the cat, which is actually the story.
People cheering the psycho killer who's killed a whole bunch of humans, but saved the cat.
And they
well done. The cat. Oh, wait a second, he's killing that man. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
go back and
it's a bit like John Wick, wasn't it? That was what set John Wick on
John Wick is a good
journey
guy. No, Loki. What you want to be doing here now is Loki not the bad guy, and now all of a sudden he has his own show, and he's actually my daughter loves Loki from day one. So it's the characterization. We touched on this, and I like Darth Vader. He was the bad guy. But then he turned out to be a good guy. So I don't know. I didn't know till about 9 episodes in. But the thing here is you played a role well. You looked well, played a role well. You liked the acting because you engaged with the fear or the emotion or whatever else. But it wasn't a dull, dud character, type of. Actually, I think a show that might be newly coming back, I don't know if it's a repeat, but Dexter revisited or revamped which is the mass murderer good guy. You know, it's this crossover of good and bad.
Exactly. It's kind of like saying like bad people sometimes can do good things.
Yes.
And good people can sometimes do bad things. So it's kind of like, what? It's like there's like a grey area.
But if you're an actor, which one were you?
I like to think I do mostly good things.
Well, it's the same as Hannibal Lecter, isn't it? You know, in the was it? I forget the film. Something of the Lamb.
Silence of the Lambs. He was a good painter.
Silence of the Lamb. Yeah. And basically all the way through, he was a psychopath, but through the stories, he did actually help the main characters solve problems and started eating the bad ones.
Right, George and Aidan, I was going, you touched on some nice little language there. You do good things, but good is not good enough. It needs to be great, because good, we're all just in the curve. That's the problem. We've all got jobs. We go to work. We get up a little bit further in the curve. We do well. We supervise some people. We're managed by others. We get given work. We're not turning it away. If we're great, we're turning it away. The mountain is coming to Muhammad. We touched on this before. So we're doing good things. We're surviving. We're thriving a little bit. But we're no Elon Musk. We're no great. We're no godlike. We're no omnipotent. Do you want to be great, or do you want to be good?
The thing is, like, I want to be. See, if you're Irish and you say I want to be great at something, automatically, who do you think you are? You think you're better than me. So to even say that is like, you know.
But no, Aidan, I'm going to get you right there now.
I want to be.
You are an actor, and you've just been given the line. Who do you think you are? Anyone you want. Anyone you ask me, anyone you pay me to be, I'm that person. I'm an actor. I'm a thespian. I can be it. I can become it. Therefore, we need to become the better self. That's what all these motivational talks are all about. Are you the best you can be?
Not yet, because I still think there's one more thing I want to try. I'm not saying I've nailed it, all the acting technique yet, but I want to try stand-up comedy. And next year, I'm going to do a stand-up comedy course. And hopefully that might make me get more work and all sorts of stuff. But I'm kind of, I want to do as much as I can. But
right, I'm going to be terrible and go committee next year is about 5 weeks away. So I let you off on that. Normally we're putting the future, everything is, we can't do our academy till we achieve this thing here. And that, we were putting a block, which immediately said, when I do that, then I can start. So we said, you just have to go out and start. You're already you're already an actor. You're already a thespian. You're already a dead body. You're in a coffin, for God's sake. Now you're saying you have to be a stand-up comedian. It's something you can do, but you can do it. You can do it right now. Stand up and tell us a joke. You're a stand-up comedian.
But see, I know what you mean. At the moment, I'm doing research. I'm going to stand-up gigs, and I'm not copying jokes. I'm just watching how it's going on. But there's a certified course next year. Like I know it sounds mad doing a course.
What's that going to tell you? You're a comedian and make you funny?
Well, actually, let's stop there a second too, because to be honest with you, yes, those are the things that helps people build their confidence, which is why people go on a course. I mean, he says, having got sort of hundreds of certificates on the wall of each, and I'm on another course, having just finished a course, and this one's on counseling, but it's giving you those practical skills, because we're having to do role play as the counselor or the client, and go through certain principles. And this is where you get a chance to build your confidence in that particular role. And all you're doing is you're researching that role of a comedian on stage, so you can actually play that character and build your confidence in that role.
I will say one thing that's probably in the minds of lots of people. I always try and fight it, is the fear of failure. But you know what I mean? It's just that sickness that comes into people. Like, if I go on, you know what I mean? And it's like, what's the worst that can happen if I go on to like?
Yeah, end up a podcast with this pair. That's what's worse that can happen.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the fear of failure. It's, I don't know. Is it you're studying counselling? Is it like is it a disease? Is it anxiety? Is it something every single person has?
Yeah, it literally is. Everybody has these issues that we call it imposter syndrome. We did a whole show on imposter syndrome.
Something an actor imposter.
Yeah, imposter syndrome. Basically everybody kind of thinks that I've been given this role to play, and this is in real life. I've been given this role to play, and I don't feel that I'm competent to do this role. And you get into this kind of imposter syndrome that builds up all these fears that you can't do certain things.
You feel you're cheating people, or like even if you're like, oh, hey,
yeah, absolutely. Go on, say,
but it's mad. It's like, but maybe that's why, and I feel the need to do a course in a kind of a space with people who will give me blunt, you're terrible, try this.
Actually, Aidan, I'm going to jump in, because what it really is, we've done, you've got to go back and watch episode 1 to 52, and you won't need to do the course, because
there's 100.
Episode 1 to 52 was a startup journey of going through fear. It's going through the unknown, giving yourself permission, leading yourself beyond the edge of your comfort zone. It was a motivational self-talk and the rite of passage of it's okay to take a chance and take a risk. That's what the first 52 episodes were about. Now, in your own sort of, like, if we start saying, look, I'm a chartered accountant by trade and profession. George is a coach and lecturer in film, and we've got 60 years of experience.
Soon to be deacon as well.
Yeah, soon to be deacon.
You're talking about being on stage.
Everything is coming back to the same thing. I was an accountant giving advice to multimillionaire people and I'm going, I'm not a millionaire. Therefore, why would you be taking my advice in the first place? Because I can't do what it says on the tin. And the strange thing is, you're
again, that's fear.
It's fear. But now you're going, if you say the role, back to what the start of this conversation was, allow yourself the permission to act yourself into the one of confidence and be the person. The role you're meant to take on is to be the great you. Play the role of yourself without the fear. Step beyond the comfort zone and get on the stage and just do and act out.
That's the fear. The fear is quite useful, because in the last 6 years, I've learned to play the violin. And everybody told me, George, don't be stupid. You're too old. Why on earth do you think you could play? So I started learning to play the violin. We lost a few cats out the garden. They just disappeared, but they've started to come back again. And then I thought, there's a captive audience in the local church. I can go and play with the choir and sit out there and play. And a couple of times I had to play on my own. That's pretty scary, playing a violin in a church on your own when the choir doesn't actually join in. But I started to realize, hang on a second, as long as I just keep playing, it won't matter. And then I was seeing all the faults and all the problems I was having. People will come up to me at the end and say, George, that was really good. And I went, did you not notice half the things I was doing wrong? And then I started to learn, hang on a second, they've taken a bit of a courage to come up and give me a compliment. All I should really do is say, thank you. I really appreciate that.
I've heard that before, but I think it's inbuilt.
That was episode 7, 9, and 11. You probably have heard it before.
Absolutely. Yeah. We've repeated it a few times. We're on repeat.
I think what it is I think it's in our DNA. It's this kind of thing of fear of being, not just fear of failure, but fear of, trying to see like you're doing something different. Or like, that's a classic example. Yeah. Someone walks up to you and goes, George, I'd like to say, well done. And see, the thing is, before I did something really bad. And it's almost like we want to, we're trying to, we always seem to be notions, that expression in Ireland. You one's got notions. It's
no, but the strange thing is, Aidan, in the career you've chosen, you're looking for affirmation from an audience.
And you're opening yourself up to criticism.
Exactly. Now, if you knew that before you started, what's the worst they're going to come up? Actually, the fear is of not getting the next job, not getting the opportunity to have that problem. That's where you've actually overcome most of it. You're actually going, I want to be a comedian. Actually, I think you're actually asking, in my understanding, I want hecklers. I want hecklers to heckle me on stage, and I want to be able to deal with them because it's live, and that's who's going to be there if I'm failing and falling fast unless it's just pre-recorded.
But hecklers can be helpful. I had a situation. I've been to stand-up gigs, and sometimes hecklers can actually be really, really helpful. Be they joking hecklers, like just having a bit of a laugh, or be nasty hecklers. Sometimes they can actually help.
Material and ammunition. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I know. I've stood in front of 145 students from different courses on a lecture theatre, having just come back from a counselor that left me wide open. You know, if you
go, you're very vulnerable. You're in a very, very vulnerable place.
Yeah, and I hadn't had a chance to close up, and I felt as though I was totally exposed, completely and absolutely. And I had 6 courses where each subject I taught, 6 of the group knew exactly what I was talking about. Only 1/6 didn't, and then next week it would be another group. And I was in one of those subjects that was to do with media industries. And they were talking about all the technical stuff. Now, I'm an editor, and I hadn't really normally had got somebody else to do that particular job that particular day, but they hadn't turned up. So I had to go on and talk about GPS, and I didn't understand GPS properly. It went completely wrong. And I basically just said, do you know what? I don't care, folks. If you want to complain, go and complain to HR. And I got off stage as quickly as I could because I just felt totally exposed purely because of a counseling session that had left me open, I thought, and I had no defenses. So that's probably the most vulnerable I've actually been. And since then, it's never happened again.
Actually, I think fear, you touched on a few of the words earlier on, Aidan. You said stress and anxiety and fear. See, anxiety and stress, most of it's actually about a condition that hasn't happened yet. It's afraid of the future, what might go wrong. It hasn't happened. 9 times out of 10 of one, the what if. Therefore, and it's usually, I haven't got on stage yet. If you're in the moment, it's whatever's going on is going on. You can't react. You're doing what you're doing. Yep. But you can worry about the future, and you can be depressed and stressed over the past and things you cannot change. There is only the now, and therefore we've got to keep on living in this moment, living the now, and do the do. Therefore, that's where you need to be.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I've heard that so many times, and it's brilliant. The past, the future hasn't happened. All we have is now. And
that's Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Read the future.
Oh, here we go. Terminator. Brilliant. This is really good.
The future's what we make.
On Friday, last Friday, I had the opportunity to go and ride a Royal Enfield motorcycle and a Harley Davidson. And the thing was, I had no expectation of what was going to happen that day. I didn't even know I was going to get a chance to ride on a Harley Davidson. But my wife had said, you can't ride a bike because you'll influence our boys and they'll get killed. You can't ride a bike, you'll influence our boys and they'll get killed.
That is a lot of pressure to do something.
Right, that's a lot of pressure.
Possibly in the future kill your family.
Right. So what does my eldest son do, who's 32? He bought himself a motorbike. He learned how to ride it. He basically rebuilt it, and he's driving around Canada saying, Mum, I'm in Canada. You can't touch me.
He's doing live video feeds on Instagram going, hi, Mom.
Yeah, he's going to go, there you go, Mum. Yeah, that's it. And of course, now Dad's kind of going, do you know what? We're doing exactly what Garvin says. We need to lead our lives and live, actually enjoy the moment.
No, we're back to,
there was fear.
It's back to Aidan. Aidan is here. He's not a thespian. He said he's an actor. He might be a hybrid, and he's got a speciality playing dead bodies, but and parts thereof, and he wants to be a comedian. So therefore, we're going.
But I want to say I want to be an actor still. I want to do lots of stuff: actor, voiceover, and comedy. I don't know. I mean, okay, I will confess this. I have done something. I have done.
He's in the confessional now.
He's in the confessional. Yeah, I'm only a deacon, or to be shortly. I'm not a priest. We can't hear.
I've done guerrilla stand-up comedy, and what that is this.
You went to Dublin Zoo and threw some fucking sandwiches at the local gorilla.
I tried to make gorillas laugh at the zoo. But no, what I've done is I've gone to open mic nights. And when you go to open mic nights, you put down juggling, a singer, a musician, a poem.
Yeah.
I put down spoken word. So up next, it's Aidan with spoken word. So I go up and I attempt a short stand-up routine. So if I get laughs, well, thank you very much. But if I don't get laughs, well, I'm not a comedian, a spoken word. So I've tested the water. I've kind of half jumped in, but
half jumped in, yeah.
Well, as you say, when you have 1 foot over a cliff's edge, there is no going back. You're going. You can't pull it back in. It's the weight If you didn't put enough weight forward, you were never in, you were out. And I think there's a comedian out there, you're going out, or you're staying in. You have to decide which it is. And that's where we went out 2 years ago. We're not going back in. Now, we don't know what's out there. We're out there now, it turns out. And other people are out there. You're out there. That's how we came across you. But you're not, going back in is get a day job. Going back in is give up the dreams. Going back in is give up the aspirations. There's actually one more sentence before I go and let you talk. The words at the very beginning of one of our very, very first shows was, you gotta be the I am. The I am is, I am an actor. I am a comedian. It's not I'm going to be. You either are or you're not.
I'll tell you, Garvin, you touch on something there. And this, for me, like, I've done all sorts of jobs, and at the moment,
I didn't touch anything. We're 300 miles away.
Run away.
There's nowhere near you. Guard Aidan O'Sullivan. There'll be no touching anything.
That's it. Yeah. Who's been in the coffin as well? Had to investigate his own death.
But
own up and continue.
But the thing is, like, you touched on there about the day job. I do all sorts of stuff. Some acting jobs, some jobs not acting. But I like to try and do jobs that are as near to acting or performing as possible, that are technically a day job, but that is a fear of mine. And I'm not a snob. It's just I've been there, done that. And it's to go into a job or an existence where I'm switched off. Like for 2 years, I worked in a kitchen, and I'm not knocking the job. It's just that it became safe and comfortable. 2 years working in the kitchen in the one place. And yeah, I was in my mind, I was safe and I was okay and comfortable. But no, I wasn't. I was avoiding life.
I'm going to say the opposite, Aidan. For 2 years.
I don't want to go back to that. So basically what I'm saying is I don't want to go back to that.
For 2 years, you did your best acting because it wasn't you.
Yeah. I think what's also important here is that because that's great. That's a great sort of you've revealed to yourself the situation that you found yourself in, and Garvin has done exactly the same. He's had to go into jobs that he didn't want to do because that was the safe thing to do.
Normal. I was acting like I was normal, that everybody else is doing, and I can't. Yeah.
You can't do that. No.
The problem is
I'm not normal.
You're acting normal. Now you want to be the normal actor.
Actor. That's it.
So
that's back to the very start of the conversation. You don't want to act normal. If you want your normality to be you, the actor, then you need to act the best you can be.
That makes sense.
It's being truthful to yourself, isn't it? It's being your true self. That's what I think we're all being.
Now, hold on a second, George. Then you're not acting. You're just being you.
But I think that's where once you get into a role and you own that role, you own that character, and it becomes you, even if it's not a side of you that you're revealing. You own that character, and it becomes everything that you want to do, and you will drive and strive forward with what you're actually doing.
Because you've just become yourself. You've just become the role of you.
Can I just say something? I'm going to drop a name here, and I'm in no way saying that I'm at his level. So I'm going to preempt this. I'm in no way saying I'm at his level, but a certain actor called Marlon Brando has a quote. And he's got lots of quotes, but one of them was stories or analogies. He says that everybody on earth is an actor. And what he meant is they mightn't be in the films or stage, but you could be going to a job where it's like you walk in the morning, how are you getting on? Oh, I'm great, thanks. You like working here, don't you? Oh, yeah, I love working here. How's the family? Great. How's life? Grand. Everything's really good. And you go through your job, your life, and you're all, oh, hey, how's it going? Did you watch the game, having the crack? But you're absolutely freaking miserable. You don't want to work there. You don't want to be in that relationship. You don't want to be at that house. You don't want to hang out with these relatives or people or friends of friends of friends, but you're expected to because it's normal.
Right. Actually, Aidan, I'm going to stop you there sometimes. The weird thing there now is a bit of Seinfeld. There's the outside voice and the outside voice and the inside voice. So most people are doing the inside voice and they're saying the opposite on the outside. Yes, I'm doing this. I like that. I was the opposite. I didn't realize I had the reverse. And I was going in there and they were asking, how are you? And I give them, they didn't want to hear it. I'm not happy. I don't like you. I think you're an arsehole. And I was meant to be filtering, but I wasn't. So now you've actually showed me what was going wrong this whole time. Why I wasn't promoted, because I was saying it as I saw it. I was given the truth, whether they wanted it or not. I couldn't act the part they required. So therefore, myself and George, we didn't fit in the box that was made for the role. So if you're trying to put yourself into this comfort zone role and you don't fit without a big mallet, then you're not going to be comfortable. That job isn't for you. Do not put yourself in there, because that will create the stress and anxiety and all the rest of it.
I've learned that. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to go back to that, to a certain life that other people do it, so you must do it, or everyone has done it for the last couple of hundred years. And not everybody can be not everybody can be I have very little interest in sports. I have very little interest in sports. But if you
join the club, except it's not a sports club, it's an anti-sports club.
But growing up in certain places, if you weren't into football, if you weren't into watching guys run around after other guys on a football field, you were weird. If you didn't go to the pub,
or you became an actor. Yes,
if you weren't into going to the pub and watching a TV screen and shouting and roaring at men following other men on a football field, you were weird. But for me, it's I suppose it's trying to realize that you can't be
all things to all.
Yeah, I feel like saying I'm not into sport, but it's okay to be that.
The one problem you're having here, Aidan, is you keep on going to football matches, you keep on going to fucking pubs with sports clubs and sports TV and expecting to be part of the crew.
No,
you just need to move pubs.
I used to pretend to be interested in that, but now it's
yeah. Well, there's something that's quite interesting, because the way that people assume actors are
they love themselves.
You're actually finding that you're pretending to be something that you're not. And I know that I was lecturing for about 11 years and I enjoyed the job and I enjoyed the interaction with the students, because again, it's like theatre, because you're up there in front of a load of students. But I began to find that this wasn't me, and it started to affect my health to the point where I ended up being put off on a sabbatical because it affected my health. That safeness suddenly became the dangerous place, because it was actually killing me. And the only way was to get out, which looked as though there was no sort of safety net. But in many ways, I was able to move forward and develop better out of that environment, and then started to take the risks that were necessary. Because if you become too risk averse, you end up, again, not living, which is why, again, having that ride on the motorcycle last Friday, I faced several fears and suddenly realized I didn't need to be frightened. I learned to ride a motorbike. I knew how to do stuff. I know how to drive in traffic, and I know how to do it on two wheels as well as I do on four. But it's just a fear had been transferred to me that I had to exercise out. And I think that's why we have to do these. And if things go wrong, it's that people will forget. It's like, it's not like a cinema when you're on stage.
Mistakes.
It's basically
okay to try something and make a mistake.
To make mistakes.
You don't kill somebody.
Well, we're not going to talk about rust now. That's a bit of a bad subject.
No. But my wife's a midwife, and she's into risk assessment and stuff like that. And quite often she says, look, did anybody die? And if everybody's all getting sort of uptight and everything, and they kind of go, well, actually, no. Well, then that's a good thing, isn't it?
Well, we touched on this in a different show, George. We said, yes, every day of the week, people die. They're always dying. There's as many dying as there's being born, and they're being killed, and they're having accidents. Shit happens, and it's happening to other people when it's not happening to you. But
I think in our own environments, in the circles that we work within, yes, there are people occasionally die, but there's a really great cut there between the two of you, the cut going across. Sorry, just like my editor hat came back on. The reality is that in our own environments, if we get to enjoy being in the now, like we are now, enjoying the conversation, you suddenly find that your spirit is lifted, your whole personality is lifted, And you kind of go, wow, I want to do more of that. I wouldn't mind it. I'd prefer this kind of thing than spending most of my time on social media or doing other kind of crazy things like that, because it's the human interaction that becomes so important. It's that communication that's going backwards and forwards between different people and responding
between
to
the
how
pair
they're
of you,
reacting.
it's a monologue on my side. But
yeah, he got the Shakespearean monologue to do.
No, actually,
look, we didn't give that to Aidan.
There's a strange thing. I'm going to swing it back around to begin the conversation again, or earlier in the show.
What, YouTube?
Did anybody die? And if they didn't die, then you're seeing yourself as being a player that's going to spend more of your time playing someone else than yourself if you're this character in an episodical drama. So you nearly want them to die, and actually you can actually keep on dying. It means you keep on working, and you keep on dying, and you keep on getting paid to die. So I think you want to be the expert body in the body
rebirth.
bag. That's it.
I'll only accept that role in that film or TV show if I die. And then that means I can come back and be completely someone different in the next show or something like that. Yeah.
Be completely resurrected.
No, you don't. You want to be a one-hit wonder in each of the episodical dramas. You do not want to be a mainstay character, because I don't think you want to be this, as you said, the singular role.
You want to be the guy with the red shirt in Star Trek.
I want to come back as a cameo. I want to be like a cameo actor who just appears in every single thing made as myself. I just pop in like with a cup of coffee or something out there and. Maybe.
No, this is the push against the shove. Like, I mean, when I was watching TV as a young kid, if you wanted to be an actor, you went and got a flat or apartment in Hollywood Drive or something.
And became a waiter or a bartender.
Yes, and you become an expert barista somewhere in Hollywood, and you keep on going to castings. What the hell are you doing in Harold's Cross? There's something drastically wrong here if you want to be an actor.
I'll tell you one thing. See, the thing is... in Ireland, right? This is one thing I get a lot is, so what are you? I'm an actor. I haven't seen you on Fair City. I haven't heard you on the stage. So in other words, you think you're on the dole, you're hanging around. But then I tried to explain to them that there's something called independent cinema film festivals. So you get in a short film or feature film that does well at a film festival, and then from that you get other acting parts, other things like that. But you'll never see it, that's what I say to them. But then they just go, but I haven't seen it on the TV. And it's...
No, that's another thing. You've just given us a little kiss of death there. You're going, I keep on picking indies, but if you haven't seen me, none of them have got their money back because no one bloody well got to see it. I keep on doing these ones instead of the Marvel... You got to see me. So, do you want to keep on doing a little bit of action? Hold on.
I don't think it works because
where do you want to be?
See the number of shows that are on, the number of shows that are actually on at the moment, and everybody's going to go, have you seen this? Have you seen this? Have you seen this? No, I've been watching this other program, and it's just as famous as that one you've been talking about. Have you seen this, and this? And they're going to go, no, there's so much diversity. We're no longer in the days where people had 3 channels and everybody saw Coronation Street.
But the one question you just touched on, Aidan, is if someone... cast anybody out there. If I said I was an actor, the first and only question is, have I seen you?
Yeah.
So have I seen you?
But I don't think, but that doesn't mean but the thing is, the way I look...
How long are you doing this? I haven't seen you.
But the way I look at it is the people who hopefully see me are directors or producers or people who can get me like the next job.
No customers that want to see you again and pay to see you.
I just but one thing I've noticed is this here is that there are a lot of people out there who are either training to be part-time, want to be training, are doing it in their free time. They want to be writers, actors, directors, work in film. They want to be painters. They want to be musicians.
I'm going to stop you again and go,
but
Aidan, do they want to be successful actors, writers?
Well, hang on a second, Garvin. Let's just stop you there, because your idea of success is, are they making lots of money?
No, all right. That's the whole point.
Other people's success is, are you... If you're getting the work you want to do, then you're being successful. And I think that's the key thing.
All right, then that's the question. The question is,
what's the parameters of success?
Are you comfortably, happily working, jobbing Or could you do it some more? Or would you like to be a bit more famous and not have that worry?
See, for me, it's not about the fame. That's like
it's about the money. Then, all right.
It's about, to be honest, it's about as simple as like getting up in the morning. Getting up in the morning and either looking forward to or not dreading going to a job.
So no nighttime shoots.
Yes.
All right, got you.
It's basically about wanting to do having a working life that you like.
Yeah.
You're working, you're paying taxes, you're doing all the other normal stuff, but it's like at the same time, it's a job you like. And also variety. I've come to another conclusion. If tomorrow I stopped acting and doing all my other side jobs that are remotely acting related or remotely creative, I would like variety in life. Like variety is incredible. Like I'll give you an example. 2 weeks ago, I got a job. It was €200 plus expenses to go up to Derry City with a group of other actors. And we got paid to do this. Okay, paid to do this. We're going to declare it, my tax return, all the rest. Got paid to go to a festival, a music festival called Loco Land Festival. It's not recorded. You'll never see it. But for me, it doesn't matter. I had a great time. 2.5 hours I got paid to be a protester with signs, the Father Ted signs, down with this sort of thing, careful now, megaphone, give an actor a megaphone. And they said you could say whatever you want to people as a protester. And I was protesting against the noise levels at music festivals, in a music festival. And it was so much fun. You basically got paid to act the fool. And people would come up to you going, I'd love it when people come up to me and say, why are you here? What are you doing this for? What's your problem? And I'd say, please sign my petition with the megaphone to reduce the noise levels at music festivals with a straight face. And
now the weird thing is you're now on a police database for being a protester. And you won't get any work anymore.
And here's something as well. And then I started to protest against what do we want? No protests outside music festivals. When do we want it? No. I was trying to say the most ridiculous things to people. And for me, job satisfaction was when people would come up to me and not go, guys, you're really, really great. You're funny. You're mad. My job satisfaction, and when people would come up to me angrily and going, what are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. Inside, I was laughing.
Right, hold on a second. In the one sentence you just said, I want to incite a riot. Right. Now, the riot is the riot of laughing, but I mean, you're upsetting people that don't know you're an actor or a thespian or someone.
I wasn't upsetting him. I think it was just like,
was that the festival organizer?
Oh yeah, we were hired by them, sure. But the best thing too was when you had non-actors getting in on the crack. Like we were beside the entrance gates, so security for the festival. People would come up to them and go, why are those guys protesting about the noise level at the music festival? And people wearing costumes at the festival. I was protesting against people wearing costumes at Halloween time, at music festivals as well. And someone's security guards got in on the crack. They would go with a straight face. Those guys, oh no, they're real. I don't know what their problem is. And knowing full well we were hired by the festival. It was great. But
now, what I'm confused about is now you have security guards wearing costumes.
It's Halloween.
No, but you have the security guards, maybe or may not be security guards. It's Halloween. There's costumes. There's uniforms. There's not much difference. There's a couple of blokes acting as security.
But Garvin, this is where the lanyard. It's like usually if you wore a high-vis vest, everyone took you seriously. But now, if you have a lanyard, that's the new high-vis. Yeah. You have a lanyard. Oh, sorry. Go on ahead into the Prime Minister's office. You have a lanyard. Yes. Yeah. There's the Queen's entrance. Lanyards are like the new high vis. So, I mean, but I think basically what I'm trying to say is being an actor, doing jobs like that, even at the very minimum doing job. Oh, here we go. Showing off. Here we go.
That's it.
We have to listen to what he says because he's a lanyard.
No, George, I know it's a visual medium for the few people that go onto YouTube and Facebook.
Well, I knew you'd tell him all about it.
Tell him all about it. He's flashing at
You're
us.
very important.
It doesn't matter what. It's irrelevant.
You weren't important earlier on when you didn't have it, but now I will listen to you, George, because...
No, but the great thing, Aidan, is it's... we're all acting a part. We all have a role of playing our own role in life. But the problem, not the problem, or the opportunity. The weird thing is the problem and the opportunity for most of us is we don't know what our role in life is meant to be. We don't know what we're best at. We don't know the role. We touched on this in a couple of shows whereby I could be a natural downhill skier, but I've never worn skis. I've never gone to somewhere to snow. I don't know that was my role. But the role we take on is usually based on the medium around us. That I'd love to be an actor, but I've never acted. I've never never tried to find
the right one. But there you go.
So therefore, where are we in the wrong roles?
But see, the thing is, Garvin, I think what it is I think what happens is, okay, I remember school, and in school, you're kind of conditioned. I remember being told at 18, before the leaving cert, before the big final year exam, before you leave high school, secondary school, grammar school, whatever, you need to do your best leaving cert to get the best marks. Otherwise, your life won't be what it could have been. But I think people don't get the chance to do what they want to do because they're told at 18, get an apprenticeship, go to college, and then get the mortgage. Then the first girl you ever looked at, go out with her, and then get married, get a mortgage, tied into a pension and a job until you're 70. And then at 70, your house paid off, and then you get to sit around for 10 years and look at the house you paid off.
Yeah.
And I mean, but so when I say it's not for me, I'm not knocking people who do that. But if you're going to do that, as long as it's what you really want to do. But otherwise, you're just going to be like miserable or pretending that everything's okay. And that's acting. And that's a form of acting I don't want to do.
Now, hold on a second. Did you just say in the same sentence, you're acting that, miserable, but it's okay? Or you're actually elated and happy, and it's not okay because you don't have your pension, you don't have your wife and 2.3 kids. What is it you want? Is it, okay, you may not have X, Y, and Z at the moment, but were you meant to have? Did you want it, or did it just turn out that way?
I think it just turned out that way. But, I don't know. I mean, people say, do you want to get married? Do you want to have kids? I wouldn't.
Jesus, does you tell me there's a bunch of women come up to you and going, do you want to get married? Do you want to have kids? Swipe left quickly.
Let me tell you something. Okay, I was on a first date one time in Dublin. First date.
I watched that program now. What you have for dinner?
First date. It was a first date, and 1.5 drinks. And the girl, who was a very well professional lady, she was very smart, and she started to...
Obviously not, she's dating you. Yes, sir.
She asked me, did I want to have kids, and how many? And I thought she was joking, so of course I said yes. I'd like to have about maybe 6.5, not 2.5. I want 6.5. Makes no sense. I just said it as a joke, thinking she was joking, but she was serious. And I think some people out there have a checklist in their brain. When they meet you, they go, right, okay, who's George? Can you advance my career? No. Okay. Oh, hi, Garvin. How's it going? Yeah. Other people, they seem to have a checklist about what they're supposed to, or about their condition.
Okay, I'm sticking with this one, Aidan. What's your checklist?
Oh, do you have one? Do you need one? Being in the moment means that sometimes you don't need to.
You're improving. You're on the fly. That's another show. Okay.
Checklist. I want to be a working actor and working comedian, voiceover, healthy as much as I can, hopefully not be too boring to people, halfway interested to talk to, and stay out of jail, stay out of hospital, and pay my taxes.
That's cutting down an awful lot of venues with a captured audience, So.
And you've been an inspector, you've been in a coffin, and you've been a rioter and protest.
It's like my acting career is very, very limited. I've done lots of stuff different, I guess.
Solicitor.
No, the strange thing is, in the same sentence you said you want to be half boring. You want to, because if you don't want to be half boring, then you do want to be half boring because it's only half. So this is the thing. You're not going fully committed again. This is the thing. I want to be acceptable. I want to be acknowledged.
Garvin.
I don't want to insult. I don't want to.
Garvin.
But you do. Garvin. You said you want to get on stage and basically give the hecklers a bad time.
Garvin, I have no doubt in my mind that you're a very, very good accountant. But I think you could also have a great career.
That's where you miss it. I was a useless accountant.
I think you could also have a great career as a barrister or the guy cross-examining the guy with the wig in the court, the barrister.
Prosecutor.
Transvestite in the corner, and that's what you're saying. Yeah.
Prosecutor, yeah.
A transvestite prosecutor in court. You'd be great at that, and but it's...
He certainly does that. He does that all the time. He's always prosecuting everybody and put them on the spot. And it's not always black and white. It could be grey in the middle or 256 colours of grey.
I gave you an open carte blanche. You could be anything you want to be. You can be a boxer. That's another film, Bugsy Malone. You go, what do you want to be? You can be anything. And you said you don't want to be half boring. And you don't want to be, you just want to get on with it. No, you can be anything you want. For God's sake, raise the aspiration.
I'm right. I want to have an interesting life. And I think that involves being an actor and a comedian and voiceover and variety. Yeah. I think we all like variety. Like George, your CV sounds very sounds very
getting very strange. Yes,
but no, I think that's what people want.
Actually, hold on a second. You just said you want to be in Christmas Panto. You want to be in variety. You want to be a comedian. You want to be an actor. You want to be entertained. You want to be a panto. You want to be in panto.
I've done panto once.
There you go. We knew it.
And it's great fun.
Who were you? Were you a dead guard?
I was a prince.
Or what did you do?
I was Prince Happy of Happy Land.
Jesus. I'm not even going to go there. There's too much.
There's too much there.
Oh man.
I think actually one of the problems I think is that Garvin's 6'7" or something, and he's so up there, that all he sees is the clouds. So I'm
in the clouds to start.
A little bit smaller. Actually, he just told me apparently Jesus was the same height that I am, kind of thing. So he's trying to sort of trim his legs.
We had this conversation earlier. We touched on that other song, If Jesus Was One of Us. And at the moment...
Would he get on the bus?
Well, would he get on the bus?
Escape from Garvin.
Would he have a podcast show? We said this before. He'd have to have a bloody good one. Yeah. Or he'd have, because the same number of followers we have, we're all doomed. But what we were touching on was they'd done a 3D print from the Turin Shroud and using all the physics and maths of today. And it turns out Jesus is 5'11". Now, the average height at that time when he was meant to be around was 5'4" or 5. So Jesus was not only godlike, he was a bit lanky. So if Jesus was lanky and one of us, would he have a podcast show?
I swear to God, if he had a podcast show, it would be probably the most listened to. Even if you're an atheist, people would listen to it.
Absolutely.
The great thing about Jesus' podcast.
We're going to be talking about carpentry.
Distillery,
chip wood turning.
How is he going to compete with Joe Rogan?
Well, Joe Rogan would have him on the show straight away, and he'd be blasted out of the water there,
But would he be blaspheming? We'd have to be, can't be sort of all PC now to get these audiences up to date.
Yeah, what if Jesus said, Joe Rogan, I'll be on your show, or I'll be on Garvin and George's show, but on one condition: you can ask me anything you want, but just don't curse. And don't use
Jesus now, honestly.
That's why I edit these shows afterwards. I cut all the cursing out.
Every time we say Jesus Christ, you think we're cursing. No, we're making a call out for the interview.
Well, this is something as well I've noticed. People I know who are atheists and don't like churches and all the rest, still to this day, they'd still say if they're angry, "Oh, Jesus Christ." And it's almost like it's inbuilt into them. Even atheists,
it's in the DNA. It's in the DNA.
Even atheists say his name. Or they would say it in Jesus Christ. Like, not even in badness. It's kind of like it's there.
Yeah, no, it's to say right in their DNA, every single molecule knows about Jesus, and it's just crying out there. So even when they're frustrated, their body just exhumes his name all the time and gives him praise.
Well, then that throws in a little bit of pre-2000 AD or or Judge Dredd, I don't know which it is. You're going 2,000 years ago was JC. Pre-JC, BC, what did he say?
Well, actually, they said Yahweh, and then they got stoned.
Well, they weren't going around going, Yahweh there now, instead of Jesus Christ when they dropped their biscuits.
It sounds like something Stephen Dublin would say, Yahweh. It's only Yahweh. Yahweh. It sounds like a real Dublin expression.
In the middle of Israel.
I can see that.
We have to bring the tone back up a bit. So you're on a show, you know some people, you're getting work, you're doing voiceovers, you're going, well, you don't know what, well, you know you want to be everyone else but yourself. That otherwise you're not getting paid.
Jeepers, it's. I think I just want to be as content as I can doing my best. I think that's what it is.
Have you done your best yet?
No.
Wow, actually, that's a very tricky question. How do you know that you've done your best until actually, if you do your best,
have you pat yourself on the back a number of times?
Because I think I've another at least 40 years ahead of me. So I think you can't rule out doing something better than you've ever done.
But you have to. Are you planning on doing something better than you've done before? Therefore, you haven't done your best.
Oh, yes. No, I mean, that's the hope. Yeah.
Is that Bob hope or no
actually,
hope?
Personally, I think we're doing the best show that we've ever made right this moment, in the now, as we speak. This is the best possible show that we could ever do, possibly.
I don't know. Episode 53 was quite good, George. So we'd have to go back.
It's not as good as this one. Unfortunately, next week's show would be even
much better.
In the now, we're doing the best we can. And I think that's the thing. If you're enjoying what you're doing, and you're in the now, and that's the best you're doing right this moment.
No,
and you're
that's
getting the most
great. I like
satisfaction.
that because the past is already gone. You can't undo it, and therefore it doesn't exist anymore. So, and the same with the future. It hasn't happened yet. So you're only ever doing your best, which is once you turn up, put your dancing shoes on. Do your best.
This is almost like a podcast and a bit of therapy or life coaching.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I get.
Business coach. I'm the business coach. He's the life coach.
Accounting here, business minded, therapy, life coach.
Now,
risk aversion.
Before you came on the show, did you do some research? Did you watch a couple of episodes?
I know a few people have been on the show. Mo O'Connell was on recently. Russian Carney, a few people I recognise.
Are they still cursing about it?
But one thing, I would see your posts come up now and then on all the Facebook channels, and it was always kind of like, I'm always curious as to go, what's that actually all about? Because the backgrounds,
it's working.
It definitely got my attention.
We don't know. We can't help you there.
The backgrounds between yourselves and cutting through back and forth, and I was thinking, what's going on here? You definitely got my attention. This sounds and looks kind of like interesting, wacky, off the wall. I don't know, but I want to know, kind of thing.
Now, if we could just get another 6 million of you, we'd be laughing.
That's it.
So I mean, we're doing it. Actually, what we like and George likes is one step at a time, one customer at a time, just one conversion at a time. Make a friend and influence.
Sorry, well, this is one thing I've noticed now. I do a variety of jobs. Like sometimes I work in the corporate world and things like that. I don't mind it because it's variety. You get to go into some place and then leave and come back and go forth. But
have you been a barista?
That's a tough job in Dublin city centre.
Yeah.
That you'd need to be on more than coffee to be able to be a barista. But the new buzzword now is it's not customer, it's client. And client used to be just for accountancy and that kind of thing. Now it's like you could be working in a care home for someone who's dying, but they're a client. And it seems very, very clinical. I'd rather just call them like a person. But client seems to be the new word. Client is like, it just sounds very...
It's for life. It's not a... What's that thing? Is some ad? We want repeat business. We want to. Oh, actually, no. I was going to say we want to own you, but I mean, it's the other way around. It's like it's back to Dale Carnegie and the Carnegies. Make friends, create relationships, influence people, and you want you want to win someone over because you don't want them on your bad side, because that bad the testimonial goes further than a good one. So what we're trying to do very, very slowly is actually court the industry. So you're an actor. They were producers, directors, actors. The people that pop up, and these are all, what we're seeing is you're the ones that popped up in front of us. Yeah. And we're joining the dots because they are all connected. It's all, and we've talked about this language before and going, it's not, you're not going to be, as I said, Mel Gibson. No, you can become a Mel Gibson type. You're not Mel Gibson now. You're not at that stature. We're not at that stature. But we have aspirations of going on a journey of being better us's in future nows. And that's where we're going. We want to be able to be in the industry. We want to continually keep on working in it. We want to be working with other people. And that's what you're saying. The same people are starting to turn up. And if we all get it, we want to keep on getting it. But us keep on getting it is contingent on others paying and wanting to see us turn up, which is... And
that's our Doberman fix, isn't it? That sort of, just keep on going, keep on doing
the do. And don't do what bears do in the woods. Or do. If you do the do in the woods,
And that's episode 1.
Exactly. Keep on doing the do. And you might actually have a bigger audience. Yeah.
Well, folks, unfortunately, I noticed the clock. We've been going on for well over an hour and 15 minutes, probably. So we have to probably do a little kind of wrap up somewhere online, see if we can make some sort of head or tail of whatever it is we've been doing for the last, goodness knows how long it is.
We've been doing the do, George.
We've been doing the do. Well, actually, what was really great, Aidan, was that we got talking to you about, you as an inspector, being inside your coffin, going off and being a rioter, and really how important these little things have suddenly become, the little dangly things to make you important.
Forget about high vises and clipboards. It's the lanyard.
It's the lanyard. That's the most important piece of equipment you can actually possibly have with you, and it'll make you look all important. So if you watch the visual version of this, you'll see me wear one of those just to give some kind of sense of importance to myself. We also got talking about how high Jesus was at one point, and it turns out he's about the same height as I am.
He's tall.
He wasn't smoking. He was tall, And in retrospect, if you take him back to the day, he would probably be as tall as Garvin is now, because due to the generational changes, we've actually just gone up a little bit, and we're just the little people now, whereas Garvin's the big person. And I think that's what we started to get into. We had some tough stuff going on. What do we really want to do? How are we going to improve ourselves? And really the question is, do we really need to? Do we need to fall in? What is the premise that we need to cut our cloth by as we go along? Do we need to buy a house, buy a job, buy a wife? I mean, have a wife.
I like this. Get your import Russian bride. Buy your wife. That's the one you want.
That's it. Yeah. Or is it best to have that not easy life, the uncertainty of what's happening in the future as you lay your path there for the world to see later on, and enjoy being in the moment? And I think we've come to this idea that being in the moment is probably the best moment that we could possibly be in, if that makes sense. So at this particular point in time, hopefully I've wrapped that up pretty closely in a kind of vague, kind of focused, indirect kind of way. And we've acted out a few characters as we've gone along, which is pretty good. Unfortunately, it's very sad you didn't get a chance to do your monologue, but Garvin did his version, and I'm not quite sure if it's the same as Shakespeare would have actually been impressed by at all. Are there any last words you'd like to actually say before the show finishes?
No, I just had a really good time. I mean, you guys have been popping up for the last year a bit on my Facebook. And you
never press play. Jesus.
He might have been the one person that was actually listening there, Garvin. Don't chase him
away. I'm going to tell my mates who are maybe if they want to come on, maybe if you'll have them on. Absolutely. I think, to be honest, this is the second podcast I've been on. I've one more coming up next week. And for some reason in the last while, I've been asked to come on podcasts. And it's just something different. And again, like I come back to about life, doing what you can while you enjoy it the best as you can, but variety. And you guys are great. This is variety. This is a lot of variety in this show.
This is Panto on steroids. This is
Panto on steroids. Yes. We all have the props as well. The helmet I put on.
No, seriously. I mean, it's been like I feel like I've been interrogated, life coached, praised.
Ripped a new one.
Challenged all in one go. It's been good fun.
That's good.
Any last words, Garvin?
Well, I'm going to go back to the couple of words. There's no whenever I have a last word, I'm dead, right? Because that was the last word. The word before I'm dead is the last word. And the last word is JC himself. He normally has the last word, but we're too busy doing the do. But I'm going to bringing the do back. The do you need to be doing is doing life on full improv. That's it. Thanks, everybody, for listening, and look forward to our conversation next week in The Moment. Bye for now. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
Hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe and click on the bell for notifications.